social determinants of health and health disparities, the issue of cybersecurity and patient privacy was something that became, really evident, came into focus in the context of COVID. In fact, my family is in North Carolina right now trying to figure out how to get gas in the car because of the recent ransomware attack on the pipeline. Importantly, I think what we've seen in the context of COVID is we can't just keep saying cybersecurity is something for the tech folks to take care of. Really, cybersecurity is all of our concern. We have a responsibility to make sure that our computers are up to date and that we've developed smart practices among all of the team members within the organizations where we work, so that we're training our staff, we're developing protocols for acute events, we're updating software and updating patches in a routine way. And we don't just see this as an annoyance, doing the phishing test, so to speak, but rather a critical set of capabilities to keep us all safe in a landscape where cybersecurity is a real thing. I think that's similar for protecting personal patient health information and privacy. This is all of our responsibility. We have to do the basics. For example, we need to de-identify data sets, and we need to make a commitment not to try and re-identify patients. But we need to get smarter. We need to learn to leverage privacy-sparing innovations like tokenization or synthetic data sets. And we also need to stimulate the development of new innovations that advance privacy so that we can continue to do the good work we're seeing in real-world data, real-world evidence, and HEOR. Practically speaking, unless cybersecurity and patient privacy is part of our national conversation and our national understanding as a society about what we must do to protect ourselves and protect our futures, we're not going to get this right. When I was at FDA, I was both principal deputy commissioner and the acting chief information officer. And it was really interesting to see the landscape unfold before my eyes. I remember that as we set out the Technology Modernization Action Plan in September of 2019, what I was thinking about at the time was vaping and vaping-related lung impact, so EVALI. And at the time, the concern that I had was, how could we use data sets to support better understanding who was impacted by EVALI and also help us figure out what in the world was going on? We quickly rounded the corner into 2020 and the pandemic, COVID-19. And suddenly the preparations that we were putting in place in the end of 2019 in support of EVALI and in support of managing food outbreaks took incredible new meaning. We needed to think about, how do we leverage data sets of all types, to do a lot of practical things, help us better understand supply chains and manage supply chains, help us better describe the contours of COVID-19 and figure out issues such as better study design. How are we going to design clinical trials? How are we going to make sure that medical products evaluated and approved under emergency use authorization were performing as expected, and adjust EUAs as we went along? And so what we saw was data started to be put to use in a ton of different ways. Some of that was observational and descriptive, like supply chains. Some of that was really using data to drive algorithms that helped FDA do its work, such as algorithms that allowed FDA's inspectors to decide which factories and manufacturing plants to inspect and when it was safe to do those inspections. Some of that was using data now in new ways to inform both our understanding of the pandemic and also our understanding of medical products in near real time, whether that was diagnostics for COVID or vaccines. One of the things that I learned, and I think all of FDA learned during this period of time, is that we have many different types of data sets that can be brought to bear, but we need to learn quickly how to work with these new data sets, how to have credible results that we can trust. And that actually was an important aspect of what FDA did as a part of COVID. And I think what happened really across all of the research, data, and government spaces. And so through public-private partnerships and other mechanisms, FDA developed new ways of thinking about data sets. And I think we saw that really across the entire landscape of people coming to work with data in service of COVID-19. Regulates, somewhere between 20 and 25% of the world's economy, and has as a direct responsibility the job to protect and promote public health. There's over 18,000 people that work at FDA. And one of the things I learned while I was there is an incredible career staff at FDA. These are dedicated scientists, many of whom have been there for a long time. They're dedicated individuals who understand medicine, who understand food, who understand the different products that FDA regulates. And so what I saw at FDA is that even in complex environments, when the world outside of FDA was sort of arguing in different ways, that FDA's career staff was able to focus on doing the right thing, thoughtful regulatory review, making hard and judicious decisions, communicating with the public, revising decisions when needed. I personally believe we need to have societal safeguards to make sure that an agency like the FDA, that's got such an important public health mission, is able to do its work and focus on the science. It is a science-based agency. And therefore, I really believe we need to continue to advance our societal discussion about understanding the importance of FDA's responsibility of following the science and making thoughtful decisions. And we also need to continue important communication with the public about what this looks like for the future. I was both principal deputy commissioner and acting CIO. During this incredibly important time of the pandemic, I really focused on making sure that the career staff, and I was career at the agency, was able to focus on the science-based public health responsibility of the agency. I personally also focused on making sure that we could bring data and technology to bear, both now in the context of the pandemic, but also in the future to make sure the agency could continue to do its work. And I'm really positive about how we got there as it relates to leveraging data and technology in focusing on getting the right work done and really the work across the agency. January 20th, I heard really some interesting things from the Biden-Harris administration. I heard an incredible confidence in the senior career leadership of the agency that you've got this. You know how to run an agency in a way that keeps your eye on the ball of a science-based public health mission, and an incredible confidence in the agency leadership to keep doing what needs to be done. And so, with respect to the nomination, I anticipate that the Biden-Harris administration is going to nominate somebody when the time is right. In the meantime, I feel very confident in the career leadership. And I've come out quite publicly saying that I really have confidence in Janet Woodcock, and I continue to do so. She's been at the agency for over 35 years and really understands what it means to be a science-based public health agency, to advance regulatory work across time in contemporary and new ways. And I think the other thing that she's done since January 20th, which is very remarkable, is she's gone from leading a specific center, CEDAR, to leading an entire agency with her eye on how do you help the whole agency move forward, representing all of the different products that the agency regulates. And I think that she has shown that there's no question that she is able to keep pushing that forward as a senior leader of the agency. It has been an incredible honor to serve. I hope that anybody watching this, if you ever have a chance to serve, if you've ever get asked by your country to serve, please consider it. This is a part of how we as individuals give back. And I'm always personally going to focus on giving back. And I hope that we all keep doing that every day.